Seahawks drop a 40 burger on the 49ers. Start off hot with a Rashid Shaheed kick return touchdown. Might have mentioned to you guys again that the Seahawks had the second best DVOA, special teams DVOA in the NFL this year, only behind the New York Jets. Showed up again in the playoffs. But Kenneth Walker, big day on the ground, puts up over 100, 3 touchdowns. The Seahawks defense, though, I mean, just unbelievable what they're doing to this team. Brock Purdy was running for his life and running for any type of light that he could see throwing wise. He traveled 413 yards on his 33 dropbacks. Brock Purdy's average time to throw is 4.24 seconds, which is the longest mark by any quarterback with at least 10 passes in the next gen stats era. So that's at least 2016. That's including playoffs. He was just running around trying to find something because the Seahawks were snuffing it all out. Chuck, what do you think about the Seahawks and what they did to the 49ers? I know I don't want to say this is kind of what we expected. You predicted that the 49ers would get skunked in this game, and I even sent this to you on Blue Sky. I said, I'm going to give you the Hail Mary out of just principle because it felt like a skunk that the Seahawks close. Did in the division round.
This felt worse than the last game. My Hail Mary predictions was that they would score fewer points than they did last time. They scored 3, it got 6 this time. So I was technically wrong, but like spiritually right. You guys ever seen a box score stat line that looks like it hurts? Because the 49ers, if you look at design runs, and I pulled out garbage time, which True Media doesn't start until 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which this game was well over by then. But you pull out garbage time, the 49ers, they had 18 carries for 47 yards on design carries. 18 carries for 47 yards. Like, I see something like that, like, dude, you went home with bruises that day. Christian McCaffrey had 11 carries for 35 yards in those. Just absolutely stuffed into a locker. But I didn't find myself bored during this. Like, it's the kind of dominance that is, like, enthralling to watch because every single play, like, dudes are getting tossed out the club. The first fourth down that they went for.
I knew, yes.
Where Juszczyk did the
juice check pitch.
And they were all over
blown up.
They were at the sideline before he even pitched the ball. I was like, this defense, they're so keyed in. And, it's not just – because obviously Mike McDonald gets a lot of credit, and he should because, he's been the mastermind behind this. But, like, the players are absolutely incredible. For all the, the hype and deserved love that Houston's defensive line gets, this one is playing just as well as they are, but in a different way. It's not, like, the most explosive – we got road runners off the edge and we're coming to kill you. It's just like from the first play, we're going to push you in a chokehold and we'll let you out when it's over. And that's what happened in this game. They keep doing it over and over and over again. And man, like what, just a physically dominating performance. Like that's one where you're like, I don't know how we're ever going to beat those guys because they're just stronger, bigger, faster, more prepared than us.
I had a friend text me before the game. He's a 49ers fan. And he said, I feel like everyone's just hung up on that Week 18 game. So-and-so was hurt. I just think that something happened. And I was being nice. And I didn't want to text back. I was like, dude, it could have been worse if that game played out how it was. And so I didn't text anything back. And then as soon as the game ended, he goes, you were right, man. It was just it's just a talent deficiency. Like it felt more like a college football playoff team. Like they're like, oh, yeah, we got a shot against, this year, Indiana. And then they just blow you out of the water because they have all these teams. But traditionally, like in Ohio State or in Alabama or Georgia going against those other teams that are tiered below, 9 different defenders for the Seahawks recorded a pressure. They only missed 5 tackles. It was Nwosu had 4 pressures. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 pressures. Leonard Williams had 3 pressures. Like Byron Murphy had 3 pressures. All those guys are different body types too. That's what's so cool about the Seahawks defense. They got one of each, just one of each variety pack of every type of ghoul and goblin I want on my defense. Matt, how'd you feel about the Seahawks and what they put together in this game? Any thoughts on their offense as well?
Yeah, I have 2 big thoughts about this game. Number one, I'm so glad Charles said this. Like, this was a fun game to watch. You are finding out this postseason who you follow is into football and who is into the reality show called Quarterback. All right, that's what you're finding out this postseason. That's what you're finding out, and this game will tell you a lot about it. The second point I have is more of a Niners related one. I can talk about the Seahawks offense in a little bit, but I was thinking about with the Niners with this when this game was going on, because I had a similar experience, Nate, where one of my wife told me she has a friend that's a Seahawks fan, and she's like, "Oh, I missed." I guess she was texting her, and she's like, "I missed that Rashid Shaheed touchdown because I was putting my kid to sleep." I was like, "You can text her back and go ahead and say, like, you can just go to bed yourself. Like, this one's already over. Like, this is over. This is done. This is finished. It's kaput." And that's where, like, typically you get these teams, like, you lose in the postseason. We've got to have all these think pieces about, like, what needs to happen or what went wrong. Niners, like, you ran out of road here. It just is what it is. Like, come on, like, Kittle's
Kyle
out.
Shanahan, coach of the year,
Pearsall,
and we'll just move on to next year.
Pearsall's got 3. You can probably only have what, like 2 PCLs in your entire body. He's like screwed up 5 of them this entire season. You know, Christian McCaffrey, finally the EMF frequency thing got him this game. You know, because he's got the shoulder stinger in this one. He literally, like, he went home with bruises. He really did go home with some kind of shoulder stinger after being healthy all season, sucking the life force out of the EMF facility or whatever all year long. So yeah, the defense can't stop Kenneth Walker. That was my only takeaway from, like, the Seahawks offense that was interesting is, Nate, I said this to you in, like, November. I was like, what if the Seahawks are saving Kenneth Walker? Like, they're keeping him fresh for a December to remember. I was 1 month too early. I know Charbonnet got injured. Ignore that. They kept him fresh here for January, and he looked like the best player on the field. And this is a guy that's been like a bit kind of afterthought player. But not only Kenneth Walker, too, I think the offensive line deserves a lot of credit, too. There were a couple of plays. I think, he scored 3 touchdowns, so I can't remember if it was the second or his third, where it was just like teach tape, picture perfect outside zone. Like, if you're a coach, you're installing an outside zone system this offseason, like, you pull up that one Kenneth Walker rush to the left side, be like, that's how we're going to do this, boys. So it was a great performance by Seattle all the way around. And yeah, Niners, you just ran out of rope.
Yeah, and the blue chips they do have are on IR. I mean, I know Fred Warner was coming back at any day now, as they said, but Defensive Player of the Year candidate is on IR. Another one, Nick Bosa, on IR. First round pick that's supposed to help against the run game, on IR. And I mean, that's just, it is what it is. Those are supposed to be your 3 best players, at least up front. And on out, like Bryce Huff. Like, I was interested in this 49ers defense throughout the year because I was like, ooh, Mykel Williams, Nick Bosa, they balanced, and they get Bryce Huff in there. Mykel Williams can kick inside. Bryce Huff is not meant to, like, hold up against the run. And even this is just one stat, and I'm not just isolating him. He only played 12 against the run 12 times. But when he was on the field, the Seahawks averaged 6.6 yards. When he was off the field, they averaged 4.6 yards when they're running. He's not meant to hold up against the run on those outside runs. That's why those zone runs can just pop off because they just got nobody to set the edge. When you got AJ Barner moving DNs, AJ Barner's a great blocker, but like it should be a stalemate as opposed like a good tight end blocking against a good D end or like a solid D end is like a stalemate. It's not like you're going to panic, but when the tight end is getting movement, that's a problem for your defense because that means, we can just keep doing this with no help. And that means the tackle can go to the linebacker, et cetera, et cetera. But I was looking at the Seahawks defense, and this was so cool. I thought, the Seahawks offense too, just had moments. I thought there's some cool design stuff, but it kind of had like a epiphany with Nick Manowari and Devin Witherspoon. And they play so much in too high. And what do Shanahan offenses like to attack? We always just kind of make fun of what's anticipation, what's not. Like they throw a blind, they just throw to a hash, like quarterbacks in the system, because they're attacking linebackers and intermediate defenders over and over. And that's where these high lows are working. That's who you're baiting, whether it's a linebacker, whether it's a safety down or a slot. You're trying to bait them in these high lows. That's where the Stafford no lookers come in. And when you have 2 aces at slot, and I think Witherspoon is more of an overall player, Manowari has flashes and he can get caught a couple times. But you have those 2 guys, and there go the dig routes. And that's why Purdy had to run around so much. He's waiting for the high lows to pop.
Yep.
And then there's these guys playing both spots. They're playing the under and the low and then the high. And then when Purdy gets back to the low, the pressure gets to him. That's just awesome defense with awesome players at every single spot. So, Chuck, you brought it up. That first 4th down when it got blown up, it was like DeMarcus Lawrence and everybody. It was like, game over. Like that's how I felt. It was like that's a play I've seen work for the 49ers time and time again. But any kind of additional thoughts on this game, like kind of just what they piled on, any other kind of closing thoughts with this team? Because it's just kind of, I want to move on to like the 49ers, maybe their offseason. Any thoughts with that too as well?
Uh, I guess maybe just a shout out to some of the individual players. Like I'm not sure because I feel like when we talked about the Seahawks defense, they've kind of just turned into like this conglomerate. The
Yeah,
Seahawks
monolith.
defense. But like Byron Murphy has turned into one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Like,
yep,
yeah,
great
baby.
call out.
like he had a play. I think it might have been on that drive, or maybe it was another fourth down stop that they had early in the game where, like, they're slanting inside, and he hits like a double team when he's slanting inside, splits a double team, stays on his feet, works back towards the gap he was originally in, makes a TFL in like 3 steps. I'm like, okay, like this is kind of ascended past something that I think even like we're used to seeing at the NFL level, where it's like when you play like college football or Madden and you have a dynasty and like all these guys have really high superstar potential devs, and you kind of cheese the system so they all end up like 99s. That's what it feels like. Where the development path for some of these recent first round picks, or really any defensive player, they're all getting so much better, and it feels like if you go to this team and you end up here, you can reach like the pinnacle of what you're supposed to be. Because even Eamon Wari, we were looking at the pick like, what the hell is that? I mean, this guy is
so much better than I thought he'd be.
Right, but like you go back to that South Carolina film, it's not good. Like there's a lot of poor stuff on there. When you look at like, why are you 6'3", 230, running a 4.3, getting drafted in the second round? And Mike McDonald said, you know what, I'm gonna fix this, and like he's already way better player than he was last year. So you start thinking about what's next for this defense, and it feels like pain and punishment for the NFC West for the next few years.
And also, two of the offenses run these types of offenses, and then they have shown that they have it kind of dialed in, like what your staples are. They're. I just before I have your closing thoughts too, Matt. That's the thing, is just that they're so well scouted, and I talk about this with quarterback development sometimes, that you see the next step with like accuracy and footwork when the mind kind of works fast and it lets the body kind of calm down. Same thing with these guys. All right, they run high, low, high, low, high, low. Okay, now I know what's coming. I'm not confused. I'm not missing any steps. I can play with anticipation as a defender as well. So kind of just want to continue that thought, Chuck. But any closing thoughts for you, Matt, on this game? Shout outs, stray thoughts, asides, anything you got?
Yeah, Cardinals, maybe hire somebody not on this coaching tree. Like, this big
yeah, you guys.
I know that's what you got to do at this point. But do we really need another one of these offenses getting put into the buzzsaw every single week by this Seahawks defense? I don't know. Yeah, they're like an amoeba, and I think that does end up sort of getting them all as one big conglomerate, like Charles said. We don't shout out individual players enough, except Eamon Wari's kind of the guy who gets the most love because he's the rookie. That's just kind of how it goes. But I think that is just that trust and like, hey, I know everyone around me is doing my job and I know what's coming. It allows them to almost be this amoeba-like unit, which, God, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat this team.
Yeah. That's the McDonald scheme, and everyone's like, just copy the McDonald scheme. It's like, yeah, just run everything and everything really well, really well scouted, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing at the right time and knows when to pass stuff off. Like, yeah, just run that scheme, just copy that. But no, I'm feeling really good about where the Seahawks are at. The 49ers, I think just my parting thoughts, DeJuan Jennings is a free agent, Brandon Ayuk saga. I'm sure Matt's going to have so many questions about the 49ers receiver room over the next few months. I think
again,
right? It's never ending. It's like them and the Bears,
receiver
right?
again. They can't. They
yeah,
must
they
be
do.
So
I know.
They could take a first-round receiver and nobody would be mad at them about it because this receiver room's insane looking on paper
another
right
one. I know.
Unbelievable.
They should be adding bodies to the trenches. They're in the perfect range. There's
right.
Good D tackle class. Kind of a good range for the offensive tackles, but yeah, might be losing Robert Saleh, Mac Jones trade bait. We'll talk about plenty of that stuff, but 49ers, I think, will be back here competing next year as they hopefully stay healthy. Yeah, I'm not floating any conspiracy theories about it. Just stop drafting guys that were hurt in college.